welcome back to another episode of Guns and Guitars, and today we are going to be taking a close look at the Glarry GGS101 semi-hollow double cut style guitar. I'm Dan, this is Guns and Guitars. Let's get started. Alright, if you couldn't already tell, this GGS101 from Glarry is a clone of a very popular guitar from Gibson known as the ES-335. It's a semi-hollow design with two humbuckers. We got a three-way toggle switch with a volume and a tone for each pickup, and that's pretty much it. Guys, I want to walk you through my unboxing experience of the Glarry GGS101 335 clone guitar. And full disclosure, I already opened the box and took the guitar out, but I didn't expect what I found when I opened the box. And so just real quick, I'm going to walk you through my experience unboxing this because it's good information to know. Firstly, you might realize that this box has a ton of damage to it. This thing shipped originally from China, landed in Canada, and then eventually made its way to the United States according to the tracking number. And I was a bit concerned about this damage. But when I opened up the box, what I found was it's double boxed, which is great. However, the second box also had the same damage in it, so you can see how hard this thing got knocked, which again was a concern. So opened up the second box and found that the guitar was extremely well packed. Okay, so as you can see, it comes in a padded gig bag, and it's got a nice little neck support which holds it centered. So the good news is this guitar didn't get impacted by those issues at all. But not only that, once I pulled out the padded gig bag and found the guitar still wrapped in padding, which again, so my unboxing experience of this thing was really good. They packaged this thing awesome. And this gig bag, it's obviously not the best, but it's far better than I expected for a guitar at this price point that came with a free gig bag. Typically, what they come with is just a dust cover, really, but this one actually has maybe like 3mm padding in it, so that's really nice. And just looking over the finish, I mean, it's very pretty. I opted for just the natural finish, and the maple veneers that they use on this are just gorgeous. So you can see, really nice figuring. It's not flame maple or anything, but really decent wood grain used in this. And so it just looks awesome. And honestly, at this price point, that's the best that I could hope for. I was also very impressed that inside the gig bag, it came with a real instrument cable. And then it also came with tools. And again, this is kind of stuff that they always throw in. It also came with a comically small guitar strap, which I already gave to my son because it was too small for me to use. But look at this Allen key for adjusting the truss rod. How amazing is that? Okay, I don't know why all Allen keys aren't made like this. It's really nice having such a long Allen key to stick there, and you can operate the truss rod without having to detune the string tension, which is really the only way that you should be adjusting your truss rod neck relief is under string tension. And so having this makes it awesome. So really impressed by the Allen key, oddly enough. One thing that I really like about this Glarry clone specifically is that it's pretty true to the original Gibson design. It's got the wider rounded upper horns and a more rounded out lower bout. Whereas, some of the cheaper clones that you see these days have like skinnier upper horns and a more squared off lower bout, and they just don't look quite right. And so I really appreciate that Glarry kind of kept it more traditional with this. Now you can see the pick guard is quite a bit different, and that's okay. I think they need to do something to make it more their own. Obviously, they went with their own style headstock as well, and so no one's going to mistake this for a real Gibson, which I think is a really good thing. Finish on this guitar is absolutely beautiful. Now, I went with the burly wood finish. I don't know why they call it burly wood. It's really just a natural wood finish, and burly leads me to believe that it'd be some sort of burl wood or, something with a little more character, but it's not. It's just standard, what I assume is maple plywood with a nice one-piece maple veneer on it. And it does look very nice. And same with the neck. The neck is maple. Looks to be like a rosewood fretboard. Finished really well. I mean, nearly flawless. When I look really close, there's just a couple flaws. One is down by this F-hole right here. It looks like maybe they ran short on their binding just a little bit and had to glue in an extra piece. And so it doesn't look super streamlined in that one little spot there. And then on the back where the neck meets the body, this is a set neck design. And I can see underneath the finish where there was some excess glue or wood putty or something after they glued it together. They didn't clean it up very good before they just sprayed the finish right over it. But the finish is a very nice high gloss. I'm not a super huge fan of high gloss guitars, but I know that typically 335s come in that kind of finish. So it is true to the style that they're trying to replicate here. Shockingly beautiful at this price point, which let's talk about this price point. These things go for, I think, $179 at the time of this filming. And that's about as cheap as you could get a guitar like this. It used to be the case that you'd be able to build yourself a guitar for a little bit cheaper using a DIY kit, but most of the DIY kits that I see these days are going for between like $250 and $300 for a double cut semi-hollow like this. And so you can get into a guitar for even cheaper than you could build one, which is pretty sweet. A couple things on this guitar really stood out to me at this price point. One is the tuning machines on it are really nice tuners. They have very good, very smooth tuning adjustment, very fine increments, and it's just really easy to tune up this guitar. If you guys recall, I reviewed a Xavier guitar not too long ago, and I had a similar comment where I felt like the tuners on the guitar were too good for the guitar. And that's kind of how I feel about these. And honestly, looking at them, they look almost identical. So I would not be surprised. If they're not the exact same tuners, they probably are at least made in the same factory. So very high quality tuning machines on this. I was really impressed by that at this price point. The other thing is the nut. This comes with a bone nut. The pickups on this thing sound pretty all right. I'm having realistic expectations for this price point. I'm probably just maybe a little bit impressed. They're not like stellar pickups, but they do sound good. You can get some good tone out of this thing. Honestly, a lot of it's going to depend on your outboard gear and your style of playing, but I think that the pickups in these are good to go, at least to get you by until you can, upgrade to that sweet set of pickups that you really want, right? And so, yeah, overall, not too bad on the pickups either. Now, I'm afraid that's where the positive part of this review sort of ends, because I do have a major gripe with this instrument, and that's that it was not playable out of the box. Out of the box, the action was atrociously high. It was impossible to play any chord in tune because the action was so tall that pulling down the strings onto the frets pulled it out of tune. So it was absolutely miserable. The nut was cut way too tall, and then the frets were just terrible as well. Tons of sharp edges on the frets and tons of fret sprout. And that was the reason probably why it came with such a high action out of the box, was whoever slapped this together realized real quick that you weren't going to be able to play without getting major fret buzz, or even worse, pinched off notes is what I was dealing with, just because some of the frets had sprouted so much. Once I got it set up properly, I noticed that there are a few dead spots on the fretboard. Right? And then up here on the E string, we got 3 frets that make the same note. And so they just set it up atrociously high. And that really bums me out because, like I said, at this price point, a guitar like this is going to appeal more to beginners and amateurs. And so I could just see somebody, you know, who learned to play on dad's acoustic guitar, save up their money and buy a beautiful looking guitar like this and then try to play it and then just be super bummed out that they can't get it to sound good. It's hurting their fingers to play. And so then they just give up on electric guitar thinking it's not for them, not knowing that it can be better than that. And so that's where, Glarry, I would like to challenge you is, you know, you did a great job focusing on some things that I think will be good selling points, like a beautiful finish and really nice tuners and a bone nut. I think that's fantastic. But focus a little bit more, I think, on the quality of the fretwork and the setup. So yeah, I mean, just to get this thing playable for the sound demos for you, I had to cut the nut piece down to the proper size. I had to level off the frets and clamp and glue down some of the frets that had sprouted way too tall. And then I had to finish up the fret ends just so that I didn't get any cuts or scrapes while playing this thing. And even now, it doesn't play amazing, but that's because I didn't do a super polished fret job on this thing. I really just got it good enough to play for this demo. So I'm gonna have to do that again here in the future. The next time I change the strings, I'll probably do a full fret level crown and polish to make sure this thing plays as good as it should. And so when you have a guitar at this price point, honestly, you gotta cut some corners somewhere. And they did a great job finishing this. They put high quality hardware and a bone nut and stuff on this thing, decent sounding pickups. You know, they put their money in a lot of the right places, but where they didn't put enough money, in my opinion, is in the quality control and the fretwork. And so this guitar really is an excellent value, but really only if you are the type of person that likes to work on your own guitars. So have realistic expectations. You're gonna have to do some work to this thing to make it work. Let me know in the comments if you think this is a good value, and also let me know if there are any other guitars from Glarry that you'd like to see me test and review. Because honestly, I am pretty thrilled with the guitar, but that's because I'm not afraid to work on my own guitars. So let me know down in the comments what you think. I'm Dan, this is Guns Guitars, and I will see you in that next video.